Do you have a story to share with the world? Of course you do. We all have stories to share. An Anchor podcast allows you to share your interests in a way that connects to others all across the globe. If you have been considering starting your own podcast and don't know where to begin, Anchor makes it easy to record, edit, and publish with the click of a button. You can even add music. Whether it's crime dramas, self-improvement, paranormal adventures, or tips about parenting, you too can share your unique imprint on the world. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. You've got this. I believe in you. Welcome to the Existential Empath Podcast. My name is Tanya, and I am an intuitive empath. My intention is to share valuable tools and techniques that I have learned so you can tap into your own inner healer naturally and intuitively. Welcome back. I hope everyone is doing well. We are on the eve of the summer solstice here in the United States, and I have been asked several times about a certain topic because I was on a podcast on Spaced Out Radio this past weekend, and I spoke some light language. So I thought that it would be really fun to have a special guest on today where we could dive a little bit more into what light language is, the benefits of it, and at the end of this podcast, we will also do a solstice transmission for you. So I have a friend and a guest on today. Her name is Joyce Reuter, and she is an intuitive mentor. So welcome, Joyce.
Thank you. It's so good to be here.
Yes, thank you for joining us today. So let's just dive right into it. What is light language?
Such a good question. It's actually not that easy to explain because it is really kind of out there, but it is the language of your soul, to put it, very bluntly. It is an energy that you can connect with when you open your heart and you surrender and you just allow the energies from your soul to flow through you. So it can come through your voice, it can come through your hands, it can come through movements, and some people see like symbols and write things, but it's actually just, energies that you're connecting with from your soul, because your soul is so huge that there's so many different aspects that you can allow to move through you to bring through healing frequencies.
So I've even heard it called the sacred medicine, and I've heard it called star language, cosmic language, a whole variety of things. And for me, I guess it's channeled light and sound. And when it comes through me, that's exactly what I feel. I feel like a vibration in my heart chakra oftentimes when I'm speaking it. And so when we are working with people, it will, it's bypasses the conscious mind. So oftentimes the ego, wants to question it. Like, what is this? What is, what are you saying? But really it's meant to be felt. It's meant to be felt in our heart space and through our soul. And many of us have this built right into our subconscious mind or within our divine template. And that was the case for me. I was activated in a group of people, and like you had shared, it can come through in many ways. So when I was first activated, I was activated with my hands, and it was almost like I was doing a cosmic sign language. I wasn't speaking at all, but I was drawing out different symbols, and I didn't understand what they were. And then about a week went on, and then that's when I started speaking it. So how did you get activated in this the star language?
It's really interesting. I was actually on a call with someone who was doing the activation, and I think it was the Pleiadians that were really strong that day. And so she said, put your hands out and just be open to the energies. Well, I did that, and all of a sudden I felt this whoosh and I couldn't stop, just started with all of this language that was coming out of me. And it was so powerful and so strong that I couldn't stop it. It was like, I was activated. So something needed to be spoken on the call for everyone to hear. And I just let it go. Because when you try to hold it in, you can't, you really it needs to come out. And that's why you have to turn off that logic part of you that is like, what was that? What is it? I don't know what it was saying. And just kind of trust what's flowing through and allow your body, because the frequency is so high, just allow your body to feel it, because it is healing. and it's clearing and it's opening and activating. So it was really interesting that first time. And then after that, you just start opening to more and more energies from your soul that you're connecting with on the higher realms.
Absolutely.
Cool.
And I think for me, it's when I was activated with my hands, I was like kind of frustrated that I wasn't speaking it like everyone else was. So I started to practice. The way I activated myself was I would look myself in the mirror in my eyes and I commanded my light language to activate.
Wow.
And immediately I started speaking something. Now it sounded a lot of like baby talk, like goo goo gaga, and I was giggling. But then as time went on, I started to speak it more fluently. And then I recognized when I was working with clients, it just would start to flow. And I know you and I have talked about this. You just can't hold it back.
You can't. When something wants to come through, you really just have to surrender and put your ego and your mind aside and just allow it, because it's important. It's clearing that throat chakra too, when you just allow things to come through from that you're channeling from your soul and from the higher realms. It's working with you and the person that you're working with.
Absolutely. And so I noticed too, many different dialects come out. And I don't even know if that's the right terminology to use, but for me, and I know with you as well, I'll have Pleiadian energy come through, Arcturian, sometimes even I laugh, even some sort of Sasquatch sounding Native American, very throaty type energy come through. So does that happen to you often in your sessions?
Yeah, it's really interesting. I do have a client where the dolphins come in very frequently for her. And I know it's a Lemurian connection. And it's just such a beautiful frequency that comes through, and I start speaking and you can feel the energy. It's so high, to bring in that joy that person, needs to connect with. So the dolphins come in a lot. I have all different kinds of, I guess I would call it frequencies. We call it energies, frequencies, whatever that the word is that you want to use, because it really isn't a word. It's an energy.
It's a feeling.
Yeah. And so it comes through. Whatever that client needs at that time will come through. If it's meant to, for their highest good.
Yeah.
So
and
sometimes I have that shamanic energy come through too. And I know, I know it's part of my soul because I've had shamanic past lives. So that it's a totally different energy. It's very like clearing, and the sound is different. It's a deeper sound. So I'm always kind of surprised when that comes in, and I just go with it.
Yeah, I've had that too. And I've sometimes wanted to move, like in my chair. It's like that. It sounds like very native singing. And I'm like, where is this coming from? And I've even had this happen when I'm driving. If I'm driving around, I went to Crater Lake. I drove from Idaho down to Oregon, and I drove through some Indian reservations, and I started chanting and speaking languages, and my whole body was buzzing. And so does this happen to you too? Like, do you notice when you're driving around or just out and about?
Yeah, that's interesting you say that, because it actually comes out a lot when I'm shopping, like in the supermarket. And I know it's clearing, because sometimes it's dragon energy. It's just energy that is helping me, especially when I'm in these places where the energy can be really dense. And I just let it go. People don't even notice, or if they hear me, I don't care, because I know I'm clearing the space. And that's what a lot of us are doing when we're doing light language. We're clearing, we're healing, we're channeling, information and downloads and activate. There's so many things that can happen with it. So
it's working on a deep cellular level, and it's to raise the frequency of ourselves, those around us, the land. And I know me being a grid worker, just being in certain areas, I'm guided to go, and then I'll start speaking the language, or my hands will start moving. And I know that it's activating my DNA, it's activating my pineal gland, and it's also activating this deep inner wisdom that's inside each and every one of us, is carrying these light codes, right? These codes of information. And I even started drawing some of them out here. I'll share my screen here if I can. And here's some of the light codes that I've actually even drawn out before. And I didn't even know what these were. I pulled them up, in my mind one night, and I just started drawing these out. And they were just flowing through me. And the funny thing is, as I was drawing them, specifically the spiral one kept coming up. But yeah, as I was drawing them, I was speaking them too. And that was really interesting for me, because I'm like, what is happening right now?
It's like downloads of information. So sometimes you don't really even know what it is, but it's just that the energetic download that you need at that time, or that comes through for a reason. And we don't know always what we're saying or what's coming through, but your soul does.
Yes.
Right? So we don't need to know logically what it is, but we just need to tune into how it feels. I think that's the most important thing.
It is. And so for me, you know, that night when I drew those, I was like, okay, universe, show me what this is. And then the next day I met this little 7-year-old kid who looked at those, you know, light codes, flipped them upside down. He said, first of all, they're upside down. And I was cracking up. I was absolutely cracking up. And he's like, you do realize that these are stargates, or these are maps to portals or stargates on the earth. And I'm like, really? Wow. And he said, it's not just a word. He goes, this is an entire concept. Each one of these symbols is an entire concept. And so I'm learning from this little young starseed. Obviously, this little kid was sharing with me this information, because this was all very new to me. I started using my hands and speaking it, and then now I'm drawing it out. And so it's just really funny, because I was kind of inquisitive on it. And then the universe presents me with this young child who seemed to have a lot more knowledge in this area than I did.
It is amazing. Yeah, I think they're a lot more open. Of course, we've had a lot more programming than the younger ones. So I think they're more in tune with this.
Totally. Yes. And I've had a lot of friends who have children, and they say that their kids speak these languages and they don't even really understand what they're saying. And I said, just sit with the kids. They're clearing the land. They're clearing you. They're clearing your home. They're clearing the animals, everything.
Yeah, that's amazing. Just let it flow. That's what I say.
Yeah. So what are some of the benefits that you see working with clients? Like, what are some of the things that people say, you know, helps them after they have these light language sessions?
Yeah, I mean, I have clients that just say it feels so amazing. And they actually can, because I record my sessions, sometimes they say they just play the recording without even the sound on, so they can just feel the vibration and the energy of what was coming through. So it's just very healing. It can activate, you know, their DNA. It can open up their chakras. It can clear a lot of energy. So a lot of the work I do, it comes up for clearing. And activating their gifts. So I have people who, they feel the energy moving through them, and sometimes they see flashing lights. Sometimes their hands become activated and they feel the energy. And, you know, and sometimes their voice becomes activated. So what I find is there's a lot of clearing work first before a lot of people are able to open up to, you know, first of all, to surrender the mind and just allow something they don't understand to come out through them. So sometimes it takes a while, and sometimes people are open enough that right away they get the energy and they're activated. It's really interesting.
It is. And I think it's just different for everyone. And so for me, I get really giggly. I don't know. I feel this very joyful, childlike, kind of playful dolphin energy. I guess I don't even know how to explain it. Just very playful, where I've also had clients who just break down into tears. And I've even had people say, I don't understand what you just said, but I have a sense of longing for a place that I don't know what that is, you know? So
because we're connecting with these different frequencies from different planets sometimes, and different energies that the soul remembers. So it's interesting how that becomes activated and can cause a lot of emotions to come up, but it's always healing.
Absolutely. So when we're working in the quantum, you know, what is the best way to get into the quantum? You know, how do we guide people into that quantum field, into the void?
Yeah, I love it. Well, the first thing I do with my clients is ground them, because you really have to be connected to Gaia and the earth before you start sending energy anywhere outside of you. So that's the first thing that I do, is make sure they're grounded, make sure their heart is they're connected to their heart. And then I have them start breathing, you know, because connecting to your breath calms down the nervous system so that you can open up to higher realms and open up to the quantum field. And allow your mind to relax. Sometimes people have a hard time allowing their mind to just open up and relax. So I bring them through a guided meditation most of the time to help them open up to this. That's what I like to say. We go into the theta brainwave, which opens up into the subconscious, into the quantum field, into their soul, and so many things can appear. And so much guidance is available when we do that, and so many different aspects of the soul that want to be healed and seen and integrated. Whatever is ready to be integrated at that time. I love it. It's just such a great way to do this kind of work because it goes so deep.
It does. And I think once we move into that area, of the quantum, it's limitless. It's just infinite,
Totally.
The amount of healing and connection and wisdom and truth and guidance that can come through from a quantum realm is just off the chain. And I've experienced this myself. It's like, one minute I think, okay, I'm learning this information, and then boom, I just know something. And I'm like, how did I even know that, know what light language was? How did I even know what I was speaking? How did I even know to do that symbol? And so I think once you connect, it's tuning into your intuition and trusting it, right?
Yes. And that's the most important thing. And the thing I love about going to the quantum field with clients is they can get their own guidance and their own information when they're connecting to their intuition, their higher self, and they're opening up their clairs. And that really happens when we start moving into the quantum field, rather than me telling them and giving them information. I love when it comes from them because they start to trust themselves more, and it's more empowering that way.
It is. And I think too, it correlates with sacred geometry. I know for me, oftentimes when I'm speaking it to people, they've told me, I see images in my mind's eye. I'm seeing something. I go, well, draw it out, there's a reason. And light language can come through in so many ways, through written, spoken, dance, singing, even our hands. I mean, there's so many ways that it can come through. And I've seen some people draw some beautiful images with all of this embedded light codes in it. And, we are holding these as light workers, grid workers. And I'm going to do a podcast on all the different types of frequency holders because there's so many of us, right? And
definitely
we cross all of these different lines, but we hold these codes, and it's written in our DNA. And once we activate it, there's no stopping it. It's coming out.
It's definitely coming out for sure. Once you kind of open that bag, it's like, it's limitless. You can really tap into anything in the quantum field. And I think the most important thing when I say that is that we really want to connect with our heart, with our soul, and with our source, the highest possible frequency, so that you're not, kind of running into energies that are not of the highest light. So I make sure that I do that in my sessions too.
Absolutely. And I think that's important to set that intention. So that way, I know I can feel it when it's coming through. It feels good. It's like, ooh, this is a nice feeling, when it comes through. I think being highly intuitive and empathic, you and I can both sense that when we can sense a benevolent or a malevolent energy, kind of coming through.
Yeah. And that really reminds me of the importance of discernment. Just whoever's listening, just to make sure that you're tuning into, does this resonate with me? Does this feel good in my body? Because there's so many different energies out there that we really have to be very discerning with what we're allowing into our consciousness.
That's very true. So it's like, don't just assume since someone's speaking light language that it's of the highest frequency. You've got to discern and ask your higher self, does this resonate, with me? You'll know if it resonates because it feels good. You're just like, listen to your feelers, right? Just tune into that.
Yes.
If it feels good and it feels cleansing and it feels healing, then it resonates. And, so there's so many different frequencies out there too. So
there's a lot. There's definitely
it is a lot.
Yeah. So that's just really important to make sure that you're aware of what you're allowing in.
Absolutely. So Joyce, share with us a little bit about what you do in your sessions. How do your sessions look, and what are the
Yeah.
things that if people, want to schedule something with you, what should they expect?
Yeah. Well, you know what? It really depends on the person because everything is guided by the divine. So I connect with the divine even before I have a session with someone. And I always set that intention for the highest good for that person. So once I connect with the person and I get a feel of what needs to be done, and it really depends on what is happening with that person. Sometimes it is a lot of light language because they need, the clearing and the healing. So sometimes a lot of that comes through. Sometimes it's more of, working in the quantum field and guiding them through whatever it is that's coming up for them to help them find answers. And there's always frequency healing that happens in each session throughout the whole session because I'm connecting with, the highest divine light and their higher self, my higher self. So we're working together on that soul level for their highest good. So it really depends on the person. I do have my coaching clients who I work with. So we have a continual kind of ongoing relationship where we're working on certain things. So that's always really, really important and really good to have that relationship where I feel for me, where I'm helping them to grow and empowering them to connect with their own guidance, their own higher self, because that's a big part of it, to learn to trust themselves, to trust their intuition. And there's, so many healing aspects that come through. So it could be a past life healing that needs to be, that comes through, that's coming up to be healed. It could be inner child healing that's happening through the energy, the light language. I would say most of my sessions have light language embedded in them right now. Because the energy just wants to come through for almost everyone I work with. I think they're all at the point where they're ready and open to it. So it's always very powerful no matter what we're doing. And also working with the subconscious. So that's a big part of what I do, is getting deep into the subconscious, underneath the layers of programming, to see what is kind of like pulling weeds, what is going on that's not resonating with your truth and your higher self. How can we shift that, with so many different modalities that I tap into, because it's not just light language. There's so many things that just, my natural gifts that come through. So it really depends on what is guided by source, by the divine.
Yeah. And I know you and I have joked about what do we call ourselves, because we work with so many different modalities in our sessions. And, the way that it can present itself is different for many people too. I know after clearing, sometimes people get really tired, or they get really thirsty, or they get a lot of energy and they want to go for a run, or their life starts to dismantle a little bit because some of the programs that they were following have now been replaced or shifted or erased, and so, there can be a lot of different things that can happen at, during the session, as well as, weeks following the session.
Yeah. I mean, I've even had clients who I take so deep into theta that sometimes they almost drift off into sleep because they're in such a deep brainwave and their body is so relaxed. So, I know it's still working, but I try to get them back into that theta and back into being able to kind of stay conscious, to work with whatever that we're working on so they can remember it. But it's very interesting.
It is very interesting because I know when I dive into my quantum healing sessions, they get into that theta too. And sometimes they will start to sleep, but I know the subconscious is still picking up that information.
Yeah,
if I'm speaking light language or whatnot, they're still picking it up. And whether they're recording it or not too, they can listen to that later on and be able to pick up that information, because it's all meant to resonate when it's meant to resonate. It's all divine timing as to when, that information is being rolled out, kind of like an onion. Right.
Yeah. And sometimes the downloads come in and it takes a while. I mean, it could take a week or 2 weeks or even longer for all of the downloads to integrate within that person. And so I do record my sessions, and I find it very helpful for my clients who just need that, need a little bit more processing time, where they'll listen to it again. So that more of the energy is in their field and they can feel it and process it even more.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I know for me, sometimes before I have a client, I'll take a shower and I start getting downloads of information even before I've even connected with that client. So it's almost like our higher selves are like, okay, we're ready. Let's do this. And I'm like,
Absolutely. Yeah. Before we even know, our higher selves are already connecting. It's so amazing.
it really is. It's so cool when you're working in the quantum like that.
Yeah.
And you can even, I've even had it happen well after the session as well. I'll have this thing pop in my mind about a client and say, I've got to send them this code or this energy. And we, you and I, we don't always know what it is or what it's about, but we're kind of there as a messenger or as a channel to share that information, right?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes in the middle of the night, I'll get a message that I need to send to a client, which is kind of, unorthodox, but I just do whatever, the divine is asking, just trusting it. That's what they need at that time. So it's very interesting because we're working on the astral too,
Yes.
Yeah. And oftentimes I'm working with my clients in the astral when I'm sleeping, which is interesting. And I guess, that's what we signed up to do, right?
We did. And I think it's just endless. It's limitless as to the things that we are doing. Because not only are we healing, we're assisting them in their healing process, but we're also healing ourselves too. So it's all connected, it's all interconnected. So,
definitely.
What is a good way for people to reach you, Joyce, if they want to schedule a session with you or they want to find out more information? I know you have a beautiful Instagram that has so much enlightening information on it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, definitely my Instagram, which I will send you the link. And then I also have a link tree so they can, book a session if they'd like on clicking on that link on the link tree. It'll just be my name.
Perfect. That's awesome. So is there anything else that we want to share about light language before we start our transmission that maybe we have missed?
Yeah, no, I think we're just going to go right into the transmission. What do you think?
So I also wanted to comment too, before I forget, that I recently just started a Patreon page and my intention is to share some light language transmissions on that page as well. So I'll also share a link below. Yes. And my intention is also to have people like you, Joyce, on there where we can also share together like we are today. Because I have so many, just like you, so many different channeled messages and information that comes through. And I've just been kind of holding it to myself. And it's nice to have an outlet, for that. Yeah. So, and I know, for people to continue to follow Joyce as well, because we are growing and we're expanding in our, the way that we're sharing this information. And her and I have talked a lot about how can we share this with people, right?
Absolutely. So this is one way to do it, right? Doing a podcast and putting it out there for people to see, because it is needed, and people need to know it's there.
It is. And just even through these transmissions, you can receive information. You may be activated in this transmission. You may not be activated, so don't get your hopes up if you're not activated.
That's right. That's right.
It may just be meant for a healing for you. It may be something to help you wake up a little bit to what's going on, around you. You may laugh, you may giggle, you may cry, don't get offended if we're giggling and laughing and then you're upset because you're moving energy through, right? Because oftentimes when Joyce and I talk, we get really giggly because the energy is so powerful coming through us. We can't help ourselves. We can't stop it. Right. But
and you don't want to either.
Yeah. And it feels good. But with that said, listeners, you may have a different reaction. You may get really tired and find yourself needing to take a nap, or you may yawn a lot. I know Joyce yawns a lot when we get going.
Yes. Definitely a yawner. That's just clearing energy.
Yeah. And so whenever the energy moves through, it can be very different. So, don't question it. Just allow it to move through, allow it to come and present itself however it is meant to present itself for you. And if you want to dive a little bit deeper into being activated, then Joyce and I both provide different services to assist, in those areas of clearing and moving more into those higher vibrational frequencies and connecting, into those higher realms in dimensions. So if, these transmissions, you start to feel it and you're like, I need to know more, then definitely reach out to us.
Yeah, definitely. We love it.
Well, good. So
It's
I thought,
also funny.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
It's funny when we start getting going with it because it becomes almost a conversation with people who also speak it. And sometimes you don't know what you're saying, but it just flows.
It does. And you can feel it, and it's almost like I notice my cells kind of shuffling around in my body. It's like, oh my gosh, like a
Definitely.
Rubik's Cube.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, my intention for this transmission is to share, any activations, any information, pertaining to the solstice, because we, whether you're living here in the northern hemisphere or the southern, we're still going through either a winter or summer solstice, and so we thought
powerful energies,
very powerful energy right now. And I just thought it would be really good for us to share this transmission and for you all to just kind of receive it however it's meant to be received. So I encourage everyone to just sit back, take a few deep breaths, and close your eyes if you'd like, or leave them open. Sometimes Joyce and I move our hands. Sometimes some things come through. So it's really up to you. It's just really just getting comfortable and putting your conscious mind aside when you're listening to this. Just start to really tune into your heart and allow this energy and this frequency to flow through your body, and share below the video, share below the podcast. Let us know what sensations did you feel? What was your initial reaction when we started speaking? Because we love to hear that feedback, because everybody's different. Everybody's different on how they receive this energy.
That's right. That's right.
All right. So let's take a deep breath in, and I'm going to have Joyce start first, and then we'll just see where the energy takes us.
Shianaya, Sikachasana, Shiakatoyana, Shiakatoshiana, Shiakatoriana, Shikatoria Kashana, Shiakatoriana, Shiakatashikiti, Shakarananiata Tashana.
Kariana shiriti kieratosh kiana haneri riatoshiana. Hi jireti kiro. We are the Pleiadians coming through. Woo, they are powerful. Riakianai. Ne jirotoi shikiriata na hai kiriata noi jiratero roshkiana. Horiataka shiana riatikiro toshiana. They're so playful.
I'm getting the dolphins and Lemurian energy coming through. Shianyara, Shiantataya. They really want to remind everyone to laugh more, to fill yourself with more joy. Shianaya kashiantata, to connect with nature. Shanaya kashiatataranya tatasianana shiatatara. The powerful energies coming through want to be activating everyone on this planet to open to receive this beautiful frequency. Chianaya, shiatarania, satata, shiatatarata.
Orianai, yaria ko shirana hai shirie. Soriana hai ki erete shiana koishkiana. Ooh, open up your crown chakras. I feel that. Whoa, that is very powerful. Hotiana te shiritikiana dorskiana hoanariaka. So giggly. This is very powerful. Lemurian, Pleiadian, dolphin, whale. I am definitely feeling all of that for sure.
I'm just getting really hot, very giggly.
I preface this with we giggle a lot.
I'm seeing the dolphins playing with a beach ball, and I think it's because of the solstice. They really want to remind people to have fun and not to take, the energies can be really intense, but not to take everything so seriously. Shianaya, kashitatarariata, shinakikiraratia, tatashikataratia. Ooh, Shianaya, kashiatataria. Shianaya, kashikotoyana. Yeah, I'm hearing to allow your inner child to come out and play. Shianoya, kashia, shiataria.
Clearing away anything that no longer serves and just allowing this energy, this playful, high vibrational, joyful energy to flow through you now. Here comes some heart stuff. I can already feel it. Horianai erete shiana koi hikianash. Hoyana doiriata kahariana haijia horiana kerana. Nekikiriata shuriana haikirana haijia datoria kahanaya. That was very Hawaiian-ish.
Oh gosh, I just have to breathe for a second because
I'm getting hot. Yeah. So when we speak
very
this
hot.
oftentimes, we feel the energy moving through us. I start to vibrate sometimes. I will get warm, very warm. I know sometimes we've been stripping off our sweater and our hoodie. Like it's so warm.
Yes, yes. And then,
I will see colors oftentimes, and I'm seeing a lot of blues and pinks. And that was kind of funny because if you look at both of our backgrounds, we were both guided to put these backgrounds up. And I think a lot of it is because we could sense what type of light language or what type of energy was going to be moving through in this transmission.
And then it's important to allow your body to ground the energy down through you, down into Gaia, and allow her to receive this frequency that we're bringing in. And really connect with that Gaia energy. Shianaya kashantaya, shiana naraya tatata, shiana kashiti, shiana, center all of this high vibrational love. Shinoya kashetateya naraya tatoy.
Very loving energy coming through, almost nurturing. I feel like this powerful feminine nurturing energy presenting itself and coming through. So it's just this very caring, loving, compassionate, nurturing energy is what I'm sensing. It's almost like I feel this motherly figure on my shoulders, just putting her hands on my shoulders and just having this beautiful divine motherly feminine energy.
That's exactly what it is. And that comes through a lot with my clients, is the divine mother, connecting with that beautiful compassionate energy, unconditional love, and really allowing yourself to connect to that energy within Gaia. So yeah, just weaving that energy throughout all of the cells of your body, allowing all of your cells to feel the frequency, to drink in that energy, bathe all of your cells with this vibration, and let go of anything that's ready to be released. Breathing it out. Beautiful.
I'm just sensing ripples, beautiful ripples of energy, just rippling out through all of us, rippling out through the collective, through Gaia, like just beautiful high vibrational energy coming through. A lot of light, a lot of very beautiful rainbow colored light is what I'm seeing coming through. Highly angelic energy coming in as well.
That's great too. I see it around your aura.
So oftentimes when I'm doing this too, I'm visualizing the energies coming through me and I am rippling it out to all of you who are listening, to you who are watching. And it's just like this beautiful flow or a flood of energy that's coming through me and rippling out through my heart. And I can feel it. It's like getting those goosebumps, getting those, I call them the cosmic orgasms because I don't really know what to call them, but it's the flood of energy that ripples through my body. And I just get these huge, just goosebumps and my hair stands up, on my body.
Yeah. So a lot of heat. So just know, if you get hot, that's really good. It's just a sign of the energy moving through you. It's clearing, it's healing, and it's releasing all of that. And just to keep breathing, you're going to need to drink water after this too.
Absolutely. I'm visualizing as we're speaking codes, those codes are coming out of our mouth and
Yes.
almost like musical notes is what I'm visualizing, you know, and you are all receiving these codes, and these codes are going specifically where they're meant to go within your DNA structure, within your divine blueprint. So it could be resetting things deep within your templates. And whether you recognize it or not, some of these things could be happening just by listening or even watching us speak these languages.
Beautiful.
That was nice. I'm not feeling any more transmission coming through. Are you, Joyce?
No, no, I think just allowing and grounding now.
Well, that was a very high vibrational, very joyful, kind of blissed out. I kind of feel a little blissed out. I'm not gonna lie.
I know, me too. Sometimes you just want to stay there for a while.
And just kind of soak it up, just really bathe in that energy and feel it. And if you need to re-listen to this transmission, then go ahead, you know, listen to it a few times and
really that's right.
Feel it in your body.
Just open up to it, surrender, and allow your mind to drift away so you can just feel the energy.
Well, I hope that this was of value to all of you listening and watching today. And it is, you know, mine and Joyce's intention for this to go to your highest and best and greatest good, whatever that is. And that, you know, you really, you know, soak in these energies of the solstice that we have coming in. And these are powerful, powerful energies. And the ancients knew this. The ancients knew that these days, these solstice days were powerful. A lot of these ancient sites are created around these solstice energies. And so as we move through the next several days, we will be feeling this. We will be feeling this energy. A lot of solar activity is going on. I know I was looking at the Schumann resonance today and it was whited out. It is a lot of very powerful energy flooding through. So allow yourself to feel this energy and remember to drink plenty of water. Water moves this energy through. If you feel like you need to get up and shake and dance, I had to do that today. I felt like I had to get up and shake. I don't know why, I just did, just moving that energy through. And so listen to your body. It's speaking to you and it's telling you what it needs. So
that's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right. And definitely when the frequency is so high, laying on the earth is the best way to ground. You know, just allow yourself to connect with that grounding energy so the energies can flow through you and you can anchor it into Gaia. It's so important to anchor the energy.
Definitely. And get out into the sun for a little bit if you can, 10 or 15 minutes, just to get some of those codes. The sun is pouring codes onto us now. I know here in North Idaho, it's been very cloudy, but I'm looking forward to this week because the sun's going to be out and it doesn't take a lot of time, 5 to 15 minutes. Just get out there and soak in some of those codes and some of that vitamin D and, you know, just really open yourself up and allow that energy to flow through you.
Definitely. It's going to be super powerful. You know, you can already feel the energy coming in now. And I just feel it's going to shift a lot for us because we've been going through such a transformation. It's really shifting ourselves and our energies to match these high frequencies coming in.
It is. And it's like we have a choice now to either ride the waves or to be crashing up against the shore, right? So, you know, tune in to those higher frequencies because it is a lot easier to ride the waves when you are honing into these higher vibrational frequencies. I know I can sense when I drop in frequency, it's like, oh, I feel dense. I feel heavy. I can sense when I'm connecting to that collective energy. And if you can raise your frequency, however that may be, listening to light language, listening to pure tones. I told Joyce, I have been really diving into 144 hertz pure tone with my headphones on. For some reason, that lifts me up in the morning. You know, figure out what it is that raises your frequency, that raises your vibration, and continue to do that through whether it's journaling or being out in nature or eating high vibrational foods or fasting, whatever it may be. Everyone is different in how they're going through this ascension process. And
that's right.
You've got to listen to your intuition and tune into that and listen to your body.
Yeah, your body knows what it needs, and really just allow yourself to give yourself what you need, even if it's laying down for an hour. Sometimes we just need that downtime just to integrate the energy, because we get a lot of high frequency energies coming in that your cells need to adjust to it.
It's so true. And don't beat yourself up if you feel like you have to take a nap. My goodness, I took a 4-hour nap yesterday. I laid down because I just felt tired, and then boom, 4 hours later. And then I had no problem falling asleep last night either. So, I think our bodies are, but then the day before that, I was energized. I felt like I could run a marathon, So,
I know. I was like that for a couple of days. I was up till 1 o'clock in the morning, just like, woo.
So yeah, we're all receiving this energy very differently. So just tune into yourself and don't judge yourself based off of how others are receiving the energy. It's all very different right now. And I'll tell you, mine is shifting from hour to hour, like how I am receiving this information and these energies. So just go with the flow, as much as you can.
That's right. Really just give yourself what you need. That's the most important thing I can say right now.
Is there anything else, Joyce, that we want to share to end this transmission?
I don't think so. I think we're complete. What do you think?
I do too. I'm feeling it too. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in today, for listening on the podcast, as well as joining us on YouTube. And I will leave all of Joyce's information below. So if you feel guided to reach out to her and have a session, then you'll have an easy way to contact her. And then if you want to hear more light language, then I, recommend maybe joining my Patreon page to have more transmissions coming through, because my intention is to have different transmissions from Arcturians, Pleiadians, Lemurian, all across the board, whatever's coming through that I feel the need to share with humanity right now. So if you're feeling guided to do so, then I would love to have a like-minded community on there where we can all spread this higher vibrational frequency and tap into this.
It's amazing.
So thank you, Joyce. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much. It was so much fun.
Take care, everybody.
You deserve to navigate your life as an empath in alignment with health, happiness, and abundance. To learn more about the services that I provide, including Beyond Quantum Healing Hypnosis, EFT tapping, and the Emotion Code, visit my website at www.thesoulcafe.org.